Stone has always been valued in construction for its durability, its appearance and its versatility. In this film, we're telling the story of how Finnish red granite has been used for hundreds of years in diverse ways in countless building projects. Now, an amazing feature of granite is the way in which it ages with dignity. Of course, we've got these natural stones here and the waterfall behind us, but even in buildings, it acquires a beautiful patination over the years. And due to this robust and enduring character, red granite is suitable for use in buildings, in monuments, many other applications. They can last for hundreds, if not thousands of years. Examples of this we can bring to mind of the sphinxes brought from Egypt, which line the Neva River in St. Petersburg. During the reign of Tsar Nicholas I in the early 19th century, the French architect Auguste de Montferrand played a central role in the construction of St. Petersburg. But apart from his skills in architectural design and construction techniques, he also had an extensive working knowledge of natural stone quality assessment, quarrying and transportation. The most distinctive architectural features of the Montferrand period in St. Petersburg are the huge granite columns.
Pietariahan rakennettiin aluksi suuressa määrin puusta, sitten käytettiin paikallista inkerinmaalaista kalkkikiveä ja tietyissä tapauksissa se ei kestänyt pohjoista ilmastoa. Tarvittiin rakennusten perustuksiin vähän lujempaa kiveä ja luultavasti ensimmäiset granit, mitä Pietariin tuotiin, olivat juuri rakennusten kivijalkaan käytettyjä. Toinen suuri kohde Pietarissa olivat sitten Nevan rantamuurit, joita ruvettiin rakentamaan Katariina toisen aikana 1760-luvulla, ja niihin upposi valtavat määrät kiveä. Kaupungin ulkonäköön graniitti alkoi selvästi heijastua, jos nyt unohdetaan nämä rantamuurit. Silloin kun Pietari-Paavalin linnoitusta ruvettiin päällystämään, sen Nevan puolen sivu päällystettiin sitten kokonaan punaisella graniitilla. Mutta se olisi vielä sen verran outo arkkitehtoninen elementti, että Nevan portti, joka tietysti on siinä se kaikkein tärkein, se saattaa olla harmaata graniittia.
The most popular building stone for St. Petersburg was this red rapakivi granite quarried here in Virolahti. And one of the great advantages of this site, it was possible to load blocks and huge pillars directly onto barges and then convey them along the Gulf of Finland to St. Petersburg.
This granite is very sound and unfractured, very good quality rock. And that's the reason why they chose to come in this place in Virolahti area. You can quarry here very large blocks. It can be also used for lining for the canals. And St. Petersburg is full of quite large and long canals. And a lot of rapakivi granite was transported from here to make the canals and facing the buildings. This is the place where the main obelisk was quarried, and that monolith is now the Alexander's column, which is located in the square of Winter Palace in St. Petersburg. The reason why there are so many drill holes so close to each other is that the quarrying technique of that time was quite rudimentary. This V-shaped groove was used to split this stone block in two halves. It was done by using wedges inside of the groove. You place the wedges over there and start hammering over the wedge, and the block will split in two pretty similar size halves. They were still using very ancient technique. The technique was the same which was used in the time when the pyramids were built in Egypt, nearly 4,000 years ago. They needed a huge amount of people to pushing that great column over that 200-meter distance to the beach. When they reached the beach, they were rotating that column into the barge, and it started to slide and nearly capsized the whole barge. But they were able to fix the situation because it was very shallow waters and bottom of the barge hit the bottom of the sea and it didn't capsize. The coastline of Finland and the islands between Kotka and Viborg are full of outcrops of red rapakivi granite, and that was the place where they started to quarrying the stone for the building purposes of St. Petersburg. There were skilled stoneworkers available in other parts of Russian Empire, and they were imported to the building site and to those quarries which were erected in those islands and the coastline of Finland.
The red granite of Virolahti is part of the enormous Viborg Rapakivi granite area, which extends over more than 18,000 square kilometres in southeastern Finland. The Paitalex quarry, from which the columns of St. Isaac's Church and the world's longest stone column for the Alexander Monument were extracted, is currently being developed into an outdoor museum.
Is there still any quarrying activity? Is the descendants of the people who originally quarrying here, is that still important to Virolahti? Or?
Yes, actually it all started maybe from here and from these old quarries. So people who were working on these quarries, they came from Russia mostly, but also the local people started to work here and they started to learn the technique, so they also got an occupation of that. And we are still having quarries here, so from hundreds of years this has been going on. It's a very peaceful place and very, very beautiful. There's all this green and then all these stones. And you can feel the history. This is a place where you can imagine those stories and try to feel something.
According to the Finnish stone industry, there are about 50 quarries operating through Finland, particularly here in the southeastern part of the country, in the rapakivi areas. And there's another great advantage of this regarding transport, because logistically we can use the lake systems, but there are also road and railway networks in order to be able to transport the stone from the sites of production to the markets where it's needed.
What are the reasons why that the Finnish stone industry has emerged again and become very, very prominent, particularly here in Lappeenranta, or southeastern Finland?
After it, we have started to develop our industry, especially this production of natural stone. It was growing up very fast. At that time, our main market it was like Italy, Spain, Germany, these type of countries. We exported a lot of material, and later on we realized that also in our neighbor.
What about the visual aspect of granite, the quality of granite compared to building with brick?
It's very uniform, very good material, very beautiful colors for constructions. We can guarantee that after years and years we can supply same kind of material. Once you have started to build something and use that material, after 100 years it's possible to buy similar material. If you think, for example, building constructions or some what kind where they use material, there are two things. First, we have to think life cycle, because we are talking about St. Petersburg. There are a lot of buildings made 100, 200, 300 years ago, still looking like brand new. Just some cleaning, that's okay. But if they have used some artificial materials, even concrete, they have to rebuild everything. Life cycle is totally different, and if you take that type aspect for the cost, in that case granite is not so expensive.
From a transport logistics viewpoint, the Finnish granite quarries are ideally placed. The port of Hamina-Kotka is nowadays Finland's largest general cargo port.
Here we are at the edge of the Palin granite quarry in Ylämaa. Has there been a continuing tradition of quarrying in Finland for natural stones, or is this something that has developed in this area more recently?
No, let's say that there has been a continuous quarrying in Finland, both in east part and western part of Finland, and also in the middle south like Hungary. We have been shipping most of our quarry, what we have been quarrying here on the last 10 years to China. And China inside has been using a lot, but also on the countries around it. We have found ways and means to trying to get market better. One way is the logistics, which is very important.
And you're diversifying into looking at ways of using waste materials, second-grade material, which again suits them.
This is one of our goals, and actually that was one of my younger daughter's most important, let's say, issue.
Granite is not only used in buildings, but there are many other applications. For instance, paving stones, roads, more than 100 years have been widely used. And particularly here in Kotka, which is one of the most beautiful examples of granite architecture and granite use in Finland.
Kotka is famous in Finland as the city of parks. And a particular feature of these parks is the use of granite,
yes,
of stones.
In this park, it was important for me that all the stones you can find from here are from Finland. They are all, in a way, local. And also our stone eagles that we have up on the hill here. So they are all Finnish stones. We have more than 30 different kind of stone types in our stone park. Planning started from that the important trees and the important stones, they stay. And the park lives with that. Most of the stones here are reused, or then they are naturally here. If the stone is 50 or 60 or 100 years old, there's a patina on it.
Oh,
yeah, if it's brand new, it takes a while till it looks like it has been there.
Mm-hmm. So there's also the connection with the historical past and industry in Kotka.
Yes.
Some of the materials have been recycled from paper mills.
Mm-hmm.
We saw
For example, those grey granite gates.
So it's been very economical, but the results have also been that these parks have been awarded.
Yes, this is the most awarded park in Finland.
Local residents of Kotka appreciate, they use these parks. Stone is used not just in building, but in a recreational sense.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes.
Improving the quality of life.
Mm-hmm. And I would say that after this park, natural stone its use has been much bigger in the whole country.
So the influence has spread far and wide through Finland.
Yes. And not only Finland. Okay. We have also very many international groups here.
Mm-hmm. Well, what about the qualities, the texture, the appearance, the mechanical strength of the granite?
Well, we have here a few samples of the stones which were used on the construction of the St. Petersburg. And this red rapakivi granite is the most typical type of that time. Rounded feldspar ovoids all over the stone.
So that's the distinct rapakivi texture.
Yeah, that is the distinctive rapakivi texture.
What about these? I mean, there's tables in the parkland. What kind of granite is this one?
Well, these are also rapakivi granites, having a little bit milder structure compared to this very distinctive structure over here. And rapakivi granite is very strong building material compared to those limestones and sedimentary stones available in St. Petersburg area. This is a superior building material.
So people could be having picnics here in 300 years' time at this table?
Easily. Yeah. This kind of polished surface on the rapakivi granite is very strong and durable. Certainly lasts 300 years.
Of the numerous commercial varieties in production, the most widely known are the traditional red granites, Carmen Red from Virolahti, and the brownish rapakivi Baltic Brown from Ylämaa.
The downtown of St. Petersburg belongs to UNESCO Cultural Heritage, and we are proud that we had a big role as a producer of the building stones in history. And of course that kind of places must be maintained and renovated, and we are willing to deliver the same material, the original material from Finland in the future as well.
But maybe
stone? Is there some other quality that could be brought out here with regard to the stone industry?
Actually, natural stone is wonderful material because it lasts for centuries or even thousands of years, and it's aging with dignity. That means that it looks even better and better when the corners are getting a little bit rounder and the surface is getting some decades or centuries. Responsibility towards workers and their conditions is important, and taking care of health of the workers, and also we think the environmental impact in every stage of the production.
This is both at the initiative of the industry itself, or also does it involve regulation from government, or do they go hand in hand?
It's both. We take care of the regulation that the standard is high, and our companies are committed to those high standards. As a producer of natural stone, Finland is among the 15 largest countries, and as an exporter of granite, Finland is among the 10 leading countries in the world. Export plays an important role in the natural stone industry. We are willing to cooperate in restoring cultural heritage of historical buildings. In modern times, we also need to take care of the environment. Cross-border cooperation and the use of local materials minimize transport. For example, this reduces the CO2 emissions by 80% compared to granite import from Asia. There's also much room for improvement. We need to rethink our business and the way we do things so that we act in long-term and sustainable manner. And we are ready to do that in Finland.
The maintenance and restoration of historically significant buildings in a way that acknowledges their ambient settings also provides opportunities for strengthening the links between the suppliers of stones and the surrounding communities. And a raised awareness of cultural, historical and technical background also enhances commercial activities, and these in turn support the restoration of both individual buildings as well as entire landscapes, such as the milieu of this parkland around us. We need to understand and value the historical legacy of quarrying, the transportation and the use of stone, and of course not forgetting the aesthetic and technical qualities of the red rapakivi granite. Consider for a moment how more than a century ago, in very demanding conditions, without modern techniques, it was possible to quarry and transport more than 2.5 million tons of stone from the Virolahti area all the way to St. Petersburg for construction.